And welcome everybody to the Brokering Racing League. It's a street fight battling the OMEC, and I'm Jason Alvarez commentating, and I also have in the booth with me. You want to
Yeah,
introduce
Bob.
yourself?
Yeah, Bob LinDell. I'm an admin for OMEC, cheering on the squad against BWRL tonight. Yeah, so tonight we got 15 top drivers from each league, kind of facing out on a league versus league shootout. This is the second time around for us that we've done this. Kind of a fun off-season activity where we just kind of get to match up and see what happens. So the first time, I am here to say that we soundly got our butts wiped by Broken Wing. Yeah, we came in and we're pretty happy to be here, joined up and kind of got schooled a little bit. So we're going to see how this one goes. I'm not saying it's going to be any different, but I think we've got some drivers on the track who are going to bring some heat tonight.
That sounds fantastic. I wasn't here for the first one, but uh, one of our faster drivers, Jacob Simmons, is the first driver to go out on his out lap during qualifying. As qualifying has started, it was a pretty quick session that started up, and I wasn't completely prepared for it. But just behind him is Tyler Sage Anderson. I'm going to go with Tyler the two-time Anderson. Is his nickname in the Discord. Is there any drivers on the grid on your league that you're kind of excited to see where they stack up here in qualifying?
Yeah, yeah. So we've got actually our season six champion out here, or our season six runner up, I should say. So Jake Luther's out here. We've got Justin Hall. Both of those guys drive for Sudi. Shut up and drive it. They are the OMEC season six team champions for this year. So they are always ones to be out in front for us, throwing some elbows. Also, Michael Doyen. He is our amateur champion for this year. Kind of came out of the blue and had a really good season. Finished super hard and increased his speed every race, I think. So it'll be great to see him out here and see who he matches up as well.
That's good to hear. I think one of the drivers that I'm most excited to see is going to be Elliot Burton, Trey Mistack, Jacob Simmons for sure, Matt Shack, and I'm not even sure where else I can see on the board just yet, but those are some of the fastest drivers in the league. Have stacked up every single time. Austin J. McGill is also another one that can put it in there. Has had some unfortunate mishaps in like a couple of the last races, but definitely a fast driver. Jacob Simmons finished P2 in the last race at Road Atlanta for the season ender. And he is the first driver that's on a hot lap right now. Is there anything you want to add in here? Is what he's kind of focused in on? He's just hitting the apexes. Or anything else you could provide?
Yeah. So I am known. So one of the things that we do in OMEC is we create these power cards at the end of the season with a graphic and then a quick rundown of people's stats. And my favorite stat that I got last year was speed 1, which is the opposite of 9. And I'm the one who normally does these track walkthroughs for my speed 1 track walkthroughs, which are normally exactly the wrong thing to do.
Okay.
So watching your hot drivers here go around, I might just pick up a couple tips for my next run at Spa.
Yeah, and Jacob Simmons is rounding the bus stop here. And we're going to see where he's going to put this on the board. We're expecting 216s, 217s out of some of these drivers.
Yeah, our early tests are kind of showing that interestingly enough, with the update that happened today, some of the setups that we were running seem to have been a little strange after the update. So there was some scrambling this evening to gain some seconds back and do some adjustments. So hopefully you guys weren't hit with the same thing, and hopefully on the OMEC side they've got it figured out.
I'm not quite too sure about their setups, but I know that some of the guys are pretty secretive about their setups. Trey Mistack leading the grid right now with a P1 finish with a 217.349. Tyler Anderson is right behind him with a 217.4. Matt Shack in P3. Will Coffey in P4. Chris Chittering in 5. Jacob Simmons in 6. Christopher Daniel in 7. And what was one of those drivers' named that you were really? You said Justin Hall was one of the drivers that you were kind of.
Yeah. So right now up there in fourth, we've got Will Coffey. He's one of our drivers who has been kind of on and off with OMEC early in the season. He always places well when he races with us, but he's got
Mhm.
a lot of different places where he hangs out. So
Yeah,
uh,
also a driver for BWRL. Sometimes I've seen him in a couple of
uh,
these seasons. So I guess he's a champion for both. But we'll see where people come out. So far, there's not been a split that's changed right now. Christopher Daniel is in P7, Justin Scott in 8, Patrick Gannon 9, Chris Lambeth in 10, Dylan Maroney in 11, Daniel R. Hall in 12, Andrew Korsecki is in 13. Uh, and it looks like Justin Hall did not set a time on the board with that time.
Yeah. So Daniel Hall, sitting in 12th right now, he was a driver that started our season in amateur and quickly distinguished himself as somebody who was going to be playing up the ranks quite a bit. So not surprising to see him up here. He surprised everybody coming into OMEC with a pretty low I rating and then proceeded to just kind of walk all over the rest of the amateurs.
Nice. And we have Kevin Caldato in P13 with Michael Doyon in P15.
Yeah, Michael Doyen, he's our amateur winner for season six.
Oh,
And
nice.
Kevin Hayes sitting right behind him. He
Oh, yeah, in
actually
P17.
was the yeah, he was actually the spa winner this year, this season of OMEC in the amateur division. So nice to see him putting a time in, getting it on the board when we haven't seen some others. I'm watching Nathan Sides, Justin Hall, Jake Luther, all really strong performers on OMEC. So hope they get around to putting a time up.
Okay, we'll take a look at them. Nick Terrell went to P13. Nathan Sides, as you said, went to P11, just crossed the line. Go over to Jake Luther and see where he's at. Um, and
Yeah,
Mitch, who I don't even know if I want to say that last name, but
yeah,
Mitch is in P11 at the moment.
yeah. Mitch Buenaventura. He is.
Buenaventura,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, he has actually had a fun rivalry with Tony Caicedo, who's in here as well. Hasn't put up a lap yet, but they've had a pretty amazing scrap between the two of them all season. Mitch is another one who got promoted mid-season this year, and Tony Caicedo got left in amateur, but they still kind of kept up their battle. Uh, Tony Caicedo ended up finishing third this season in the amateur ranks. So we'll see if he ends up earning a promotion for the coming season.
Nice. And while that was happening, we have Christopher Daniel in P2, overtaking Patrick Gannon, who overtook Tyler Anderson for P2. So now Tyler Anderson's in fourth, Patrick Gannon in third. Trey Mistek has not been beaten on his time just yet. It's very close, though.
Yeah, it looks like we had Justin Hall who finally put in a lap, putting him down the range a bit in 18th.
Hmm. And Jake Luther goes to P11, finally putting a time on the board. I think he's going to get one more go at this. We'll go with Tony Caicedo, who's still not put a time on the board. Is this his third lap attempt? I think it'll be his last
Yeah,
attempt.
yeah. Time is running short here. We've got just about 6 minutes left, maybe for. No, actually less than a
Yeah,
minute. It's a
we have
10-minute open qualifying.
yeah, we have 1 minute to go. So this is definitely going to be Tony Caicedo's, Chris Stewart, Joshua Grasso, Bradley Elvis, and Austin McGill. This is their only attempt, or maybe they're going to have one more at this. Tyler Anderson goes to P1 and takes it with a 217.306. That's Trey Mistak is point 021 separating the two. Chris Stewart goes to P6, crossing the line. And Andrew Korsecki goes a little faster on that last lap to P21. Thomas Clausen in P22. Kevin Caldato in P23. Devin uh, Devin M.
Yep,
Adams in P26.
yeah, Devin Adams, he is actually one of our broadcasters. He stepped out of the season in order to broadcast and likes to
Oh,
get in on the
cool.
track whenever he can. So he's kind of swapping up roles tonight. I'm taking a spot in the booth, and he's going to get his wheels on the track.
Nice. And some other drivers we haven't mentioned that have actually crossed the line is Bradley Elvis went to P20. And I believe that's it. Everyone else has set a time on the board. Where's the highest driver for the OMEC right now at the moment? Is it Jake Luther? or is it Will Coffey? And that's the end of qualifying. Austin McGill and Bob LinDell did not set a time on the board. We have 29 drivers that set times on the board. Their best laps go from 217 all the way down to 221. But if we go from the fastest laps here, OMEC? Okay. Thanks for letting me know, Metro. P1. Oh, Matt Check. Well, that is, I mean, it is ending. There's still a few people on the board here. Try to. I don't. It has ended, but the results
Yeah, that
shifted slightly. As you can see, Matt Shack took P1 from Tyler Anderson across the line when qualifying ended. Trey Missick in P3, Christopher Daniel in P4, Patrick Gannon in P5, Chris Stewart in P6, Will Coffey in 7, Chris Schierling in 8, Jacob Simmons in 9, Elliot Burton in 10. There's still Nick Terrell, but for the life of me, my okay, there it is. What isn't switching my camera view there? And Patrick Gannon goes to P2, overtaking Tyler Anderson there. So just a few drivers that were left on track. Nick, this is quite confusing. My race control's not working as intended right now with those few drivers that were still out there. Just keep switching the camera. But Trey Mistack takes P1, Matt Shack to P2, Patrick Gannon P3, Tyler Anderson to P4, Christopher Daniel in 5, Chris Stewart in 6, Will Coffey in 7, Chris Schierling in 8, Jacob Simmons in 9, Elliot Burton in 10, Jake Luther in 11, Justin Scott in 12, Chris Lambeth in 13, Mike Braun in 14, Mitch Bonaventura in 15, Nick Terrell in 16, Justin Hall in 17, Nathan Sides in 18, Dylan Maroney in 19, Bradley Davis in 20, Andrew Korsecki in 21, Daniel Hall in 22, Thomas Kloss in 23, Kevin Caldado in 24, Michael Doyon in 25. Sorry if I said that wrong. Tevin Adams in 26, Tony Casado in 27, Joshua Grosso 28, Kevin Hayes in 29, Austin McGill 30, and Bob LinDell 31, possibly. Those two are going to swap. That was a long one. Sorry about that, folks.
Yep. So Bob LinDell's me. I joined in just because I need to get the race results when I'm done. This is the easiest way to get the link because I pull them off the old member site. So
okay,
yeah, so that's
only
a scratch.
only 30 drivers on the board then. I guess we'll see.
15 from each.
Yep, 15 of the fastest drivers that signed up to go head to head here. We'll see them shortly as they are starting to pull to the grid. And I did mention, but I forgot to go back to you on that. Is Will Coffey the fastest driver that finished for OMEC?
Yeah, yep. So we got Will Coffey up in 7th, the fastest qualifying OMEC driver. And then I think down there in 11th is Jake Luther coming up next. So that's what we'll be watching from the OMEC channel tonight. I would like to point out, other than Trey Mistack, we've got 12 drivers up there that split less than a second between them. So I think that's going to make a pretty good front pack right off the bat.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens there. Matt Shack, Trey Mistack have been teammates before, so they're definitely aware of how each other drives and definitely going to be very respectful in their attempts to make moves on the track. And just waiting for a few drivers remaining to grid up here. Take a look back here. Some of the liveries that are sporting out here. I know Elliot Burton racing with his last livery from last season of the Draft Punk Racing. Justin Scott. Maybe the chopper's a little better. No, it's not. With the Liquid Moly livery. But while we're looking at that, we have some OMEC, the car number 22 of Mitch Buenaventura, and car number 3 of Jake Luther, sporting the same style livery, and then car number 25 of Justin Hall. That's actually a pretty cool livery. I kind of like this
Michael
Doyen.
Doyen. Yeah, he runs for Veterans United. It's kind of a pretty thing to see both of those Porsches in unison on the track. Nice looking cars.
And we're about to go underway.
Seems like I made it just in time. We're about to get underway here.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, drivers at this point are real happy for that short out lap, or that short parade lap. Coming down, waiting for the green light. Looks like they are off.
Yeah, definitely. Not a lot of time to warm up the tires, but it's quicker off the go. But not a lot of movement. An overtake from the Lambo there behind.
Jacob Simmons looking to stay ahead, just one position already off the bat. Christopher Daniel just ahead of him, down one position, but he's got Elliot Burton right behind him, so this is going to be quite the fight for these two in P8 and 9, or P9 and 10.
Yeah, in our races on Sundays, Jacob and Elliot are typically neck and neck for a lot of it, so I'd look to see them fighting each other throughout the entirety of the race, really.
It looks like we got a couple slowdowns right up the first lap.
It happens easy going up that corner. It's easy to understeer out, forces you to jump it.
Absolutely, and we can see Mitch Buenaventura is actually going to make an overtake on Christopher Daniel, who had a slowdown penalty there. He's going to jump up 3 positions. Christopher Daniel down 8 positions. Mike Braun stable in P14, has not gone up or down here. But Dylan Maroney, pretty strong contender in his own right, but he's into P15, up 4 positions.
Yeah, it was a good shake-up there. It's a dynamic track. It's like I said, it's easy to understeer out. That slowdown's brutal. Obviously, the Kimball Straight's really, really long, so it's brutal when you see that red text show up on your screen.
And Austin McGill making move down the inside line there, and he's going to be battling out with Thomas Clausen, I believe, and win out on that. And ooh, we got a driver in the back who has had an incident.
Looks like the Porsche lost it on its own.
Yeah, it looked like an OMEC Porsche back there.
And so far, it's pretty clean out of the top 4. They're staying the same. Chris Stewart gained 1 position off the start here. Then it's Chris Schitterling you're going to have to defend against Jacob Simmons, who has actually caught to the back of him. Looks like Elliot Burton's just slightly behind. Was a lot closer at the start of this lap. And I believe that was Bradley Davis or Elvis. Yeah, that was the driver who had the issue there. We have Kevin Hayes. You guys call him Kevin Hayes the third?
Not just Kevin Hayes.
Okay, Kevin Hayes. He's down the inside line here on Joshua Grasso. Maybe going for the overtake here. Maybe not. Noah Hoskinson, one of the owners of the league here, joined us as the third commentator. Has been a teammate of Joshua Grasso. Do you have any insight on what Joshua Grasso might try to do here?
Yeah, I mean, the Ferrari's a really fast car in the straight, and the Porsche is not. So I looked for Josh, just like it's happening right now, for Josh to stay on the inside, try and beat the Ferrari in the brakes. Might not happen though. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. The Porsche is good in a lot of these low-speed corners, so Josh might try and catch Kevin out on the brakes. But it's going to be tough. The Ferrari's a missile on the straight, so Josh might be trying to line up his move. Might take a couple laps, but we'll see.
Looks like Christopher Chitterling, I think, had a incident there, dropped a couple places.
Yes, he did. We'll take a brief look at that, as Chris Chitterling was P6 at the time that this happened. Oh, it looks like he just got a little too much curve there.
Ooh, yeah. Did he hit? Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a lot of damage, though. He might be able to drive that off.
Yeah, he's in P18, so he's down 11 positions. We can definitely see him coming back out and picking it up there. Unfortunate for his drive at the moment, but is at the start of the race, so
It is, yeah. It's going to be a long race. There's going to be a pit cycle, so there's going to be a lot of time. And Chris is a rapid driver, so we'll see. We'll see what if he can make of it.
Another one on the board. We have Mike Braun. Oh, it goes loose.
Looks like he had a little bit of twitch there. Oh, Puon is a tough corner. Oh no. Yeah, Puon can catch you out really, really easy, especially in GT3s. Not a lot of downforce. It's a heavy car.
Look at that. It's both of them look like they just kind of parked it on the apex there, going into bus stop.
Yeah, it looked like almost a little bit of netcode that kind of, because the netcode can tend to magnet two cars together, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case there.
Take a brief look. Where was Andrew Korsecki? He was, there was a driver there of Tony Casado, I think, that was in the background that got onto the grass.
It doesn't look like Andrew has any damage from that, so they may carry on without a second thought about that.
Yeah, and while that was happening, we have Jake Luther, who's going really slow. Possibly a slowdown penalty for that bus stop incident.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that's a heartbreak on the OMEC side. That's one of our faster guys getting hit with that.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Oh, that's Chris Stewart.
Yep.
Through goes Elliot Burton.
Yeah, and Jacob and Elliot are still going at it. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see this last the entirety of the 45 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. And Jacob Simmons now up 3 positions. Elliot Burton also up 3 positions. It only takes a little bit of a slippage or a mistake for some of these drivers to get ahead.
Yeah, if I'm reading it right, looks like at this point, the 9 out of the top 10 all BWRL, and got the OMEC leader, number 81, Nick Terrell, sitting in 10th right now.
It seems like, yeah. So I don't know where it happened, but I know when they were going down the Kimmel Straight when we were covering Josh with that. Ooh, what a move! He made it stick, and there's that Andrew going wide.
Yeah,
it seems like Josh got overtaken by that Mercedes ahead. Josh had messaged me a little bit earlier. He said he was having setup issues. I'm wondering what he's able to work out. See if he's able to battle it out with Jake here.
Yeah, what a surprise. Bob was just talking about that pre-race, is that because of the update, setups kind of changed a little bit here.
Yeah. I think it had to do with the ride height, which can definitely affect car through the corner. So it's interesting to see how it'll play out. Yeah, Josh goes into the pits here. I don't think it's quite the pit window just yet, so we'll be interested to see what it is.
Briefly, we'll take a look at Andrew Korsecki, who we know he went off, but how did he go off here?
He just went into the pits, it seems. I think we just saw it at the end of the clip there. Yeah, so just caught the gravel. Easy to have. I mean, Spa's a punishing track. It's easy to do. Did look like he had tire damage there, suspension damage of sorts, but we did see him go in the pits. So both Josh and Andrew were in the pits.
And that's Kevin Hayes, who also on the exit there. Unfortunate for him. It counts as a crash, but it wasn't really a crash. Just Michael
Doyen.
Sorry, we've had some colorful last names that I've been trying to contend with in the league with some newer drivers that joined. So I'm always hesitant to not want to mispronounce anyone's names.
Yeah, that's our amateur division winner for this year out there representing OMEC tonight. Let's see how we can bring it home.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to have to defend here against Thomas Clausen.
While we wait to see if anything further happens there, we have Christopher Daniel, who's hot on the heels of Nick Terrell, possibly here to take the that top spot on the P10. Making an all-out BWRL top 10.
Yeah, it's a good bit of traffic here. I think both the Ferraris are going to be held up a little bit by the BMW ahead. We'll see what they make out with.
There's Justin Scott definitely looked like he was going to go defensive, but no, he's going to be overtaken.
Yep, Justin Scott does. I think
Ooh.
Chris Daniels trying to switch back here. Be good to get another look at that.
Yeah, we'll take a look right here. Nick Terrell goes through.
Justin trying to cut back.
Oh, netcode.
Yeah, I think it might have been just losing the rear.
Possibly that too, but oh yeah, could be that as well. Just lost it on acceleration. Definitely wasn't hit by the driver behind him. And Justin Hall is another. Ooh, is that Justin Scott stopped on the
stopping on the track? Might have had you might have had a major slowdown there. It seems like he got going again.
Yeah, it's
a really nice livery on Justin Hall's Porsche there. Kind of shades of Fassbender's Proton Porsche is what I'm assuming he got that from.
Yep.
Yeah, big fan of that. It's a good looking Porsche.
Yeah, it's our
maybe a little bit biased.
Borrowed out paint from our painter. That's normally his league paint.
Nice.
Looks like Tony Casado is only 3/10 away from Justin Scott. Maybe he's going to be able to make something happen against him, because that slowdown really cost Justin Scott. He's down 5 positions.
Yeah, Tony Caicedo running behind there. He speaking of liveries, he just had flames put on his livery, so he figures that's going to make him a little bit faster. So we got to watch for that extra speed right now.
You know, somebody told me that flames on the livery add an extra 2 miles an hour, so hopefully that pays off on the streets.
Yeah, Tony Caicedo, he is our elbows out driver. He is one who does not back down and generally works out for him. He's good at what he does, and he picks his battles, but he's definitely one when you hope someone backs out of a corner, it's not going to be him.
Yeah, that's a Chorostecki for us. Seems like it's a style of driving that people enjoy, and it's once you're known, it's people know how to race you, and it works out for the best. Seems like we have Tony Caicedo trying to close the gap to Justin. I'm not really too sure how the Porsche is obviously really good on brakes, and the BMW isn't, so I'll be interested to see if he made up any time. Looks like Justin is actually diving into the pits here. I wonder if that's because of any damage that he might have acquired, or if he's if it's the fuel window. Excuse me.
Quite possibly, and we have Patrick Gannon going against Matt Shack down the Camel Straight.
I wonder if Patrick's going to make a move here, if they're just trying to close the gap to Trey. I could have sworn we saw Trey have a slowdown earlier in the race, but I might have been mistaking that.
No change out of the top 4 drivers since the start of this race. They started in the positions and stayed in those positions. There is some consistency between the fastest drivers on the grid for the BWRL. I always see it. It's when you see a top 6 and no positions change, but they're really close. It really kind of stays there throughout the race, and only through the sake of a pit stop does anything change in that lineup. Chris Schitterling right on the heels of Nathan Sides here.
Yeah, the Audi is pretty noticeably better through mid-speed corners and high-speed corners like Pouon. So I'd be interested to see where Chitterling tries to make up this time. Because the Audi just rotates so well.
Well, I think Bob had an interesting point on the Ferraris. If you want to bring that up.
It is already fallen out of my brain what I said about the Ferraris. So if you remember something wise I said, please.
It was they're fast on the straights, but not so great in the low speed corners, and that's where the Porsche was shining. And that's where I think one of the drivers that is on the OMEC is in the Ferrari and was doing well. That was Nick Terrell, who's still in P17 after that incident that occurred in the bus stop.
Yeah, it is nice to see the big Audi representation here tonight. We have a very large deficit, a noticeable deficit of Audis generally in OMEC, so it's nice to see all those bubble cars out there.
Bob, have you all ran Spa recently in this current season or recently?
Like 4 weeks ago, it was our endurance week, so we did 90
Nice.
minutes at Spa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that looks like Kevin Caldado, who really just hopped up on the curbing there at the end of bus stop. But he's going to be able to maintain his position against Devin Adams and Nathan Sides, who actually lost a couple positions. I'll pop you on board with that replay. Ooh. Well, we've seen it before.
Another nice new livery going right into the wall.
Yeah, we've seen it before, and when we were here at Spa, I can't tell you how many really brave on the brakes, and Terrell just goes through.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a bid to start chasing P14 Daniel and trying to catch up to Chitterling eventually.
Yeah, quite possibly, and only to just finish on my point that yeah, a lot of drivers were struggling in the BWRL at that corner, losing the rear and getting a little too hot on the curbing and just going straight in the wall. It's unfortunate, but we've seen a lot of these drivers make that mistake, so it's not, and it could happen to anyone.
Yeah, that's especially why we, enjoy the alternative format at OMEC. We do run double header sprints one week and then in a 90-minute endurance the next week. So, you've got those people who are real patient around the corners and, take their time and are real steady. And they do real well on our endurance nights, but then you see the different drivers kind of hop to the front, people who are able to take those chances. And, if they can make it 5 out of 5 times, that's great, but they can't make it 5 out of 30 times.
Absolutely. As Jake Luther goes through on Michael Doyen.
Yeah, I'm sure Jake Luther at this point is looking to make up some time. That's he's back a bit from, I think, an early incident or slowdown, so he's looking to chase to get back up, and he'll probably leave Doyen behind pretty quickly.
And still no change out of the top 4, but boy, are they close.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how Patrick and Tyler eventually start to play this. I wonder if Patrick's starting to get antsy and might try and get past Matt here.
Well,
and Trey, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it. Go continue.
Yeah, Trey and Matt are typically the front runners for our GT3 series. Patrick Gannon he came back after a little bit of a hiatus, but Matt and Trey are typically the two people that you can always find fighting at the front. Their I rating isn't really an indicator of their true speed, so they're really rapid guys.
Absolutely, and they not only that, but Trey Mistak was running in that McLaren MP4 through the season 8, and boy, was it interesting to see him really just keep that thing up in the top steps every race. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we like to do little side bets at BWRL. And so one of the things that Trey did is Trey basically pledged that if Lando wins a race in Formula One, that he would drive the McLaren for the rest of the season. And lo and behold, Lando did win in Miami, and then so that kind of forced Trey to drive the McLaren. He was pretty pleased that he wasn't forced to drive the McLaren for this race, because that thing is very snappy.
Yeah, we had a same car all season rule this year, for this season, and we had a couple people think, "Oh, I'm gonna be a little bold and do the McLaren," and did not turn out. They spent a long season with that.
Yeah. The car restriction, the car lock is what we used to call it, is something that we used to run. We did away with it for a little bit, but it's something that we talk about bringing back. We kind of go back and forth. We figure it's better for education and learning if you're stuck in the same car. Forces you to really learn a car inside and out, which allows you to start working on your fundamentals, which is really ultimately the core of BWRL is furthering yourself as a driver. So I think it's a positive, but of course, the argument the counter argument to that is wanting the freedom to drive whatever car you wish, which is definitely understandable.
Yeah. Patrick Gannon's still just 2/10 off of Matt Shack. And what I wanted to mention with Patrick Gannon is I had the pleasure of working with his teammate throughout the season, Elliot Burton, on our last race at Road Atlanta, and he had some insight on Patrick Gannon, who's a very conservative kind of driver. He's not going to try to go for the move. He's going to wait to see if someone makes a mistake. It's all what he's about, and if he sees that there's going to be an attack for the like Matt Shack on a Trey Mistack, he'll try to reel that in, but he's not going to try to make the move alone if it's just for like bullying a position.
Yeah, and especially now that we're getting on 20 minutes into the race, the pit window is definitely open. So it's going to be interesting to see how the top four, with them all being so close, play the pit stop and whether whether there are any big risk takers. I know Matt specifically. He always makes a really big point to be really smart with his fuel, so that he doesn't add any extra fuel than he needs. So typically he'll play it really on the line, and if he needs to conserve some later on the race, he'll do so. But he emphasizes saving time in the pits by not taking any extra fuel. So it'd be interesting to see if there are any changes in the top four after this pit cycle goes. It'd be interesting to see who tries to overcut, who tries to undercut. I wouldn't be surprised to see Patrick possibly try and undercut Matt in the pits.
And as all drivers are still kind of out there, with Bradley, Elvis, and Kevin Haynes are the only ones that have opted for the pit window so far. With only a few drivers that have retired out of this race, looks like there was some slowdown issue for one of the drivers, signaling that he slowed down extremely. Maybe that's Justin Scott who's mentioning that. But
I hope it's not if he's racing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh my lord, it is.
Okay. Yeah, he dropped out.
Oh, did he?
And so that explains the Kemmel Straight slowdown for him when it looked like he almost parked it on the straight, is because he definitely had a slowdown penalty that was very much affecting his race.
Yeah, and so it's interesting with this race, or with this specific battle with Dylan, Mitch, and then Chris. Sure, Mitch isn't enjoying being hauled behind Dylan, especially with Chris right on his tail like that. I'll be interested to see if Mitch tries a little bit of an adventurous move to try and get past Dylan here, because Dylan is definitely trying to slow Mitch up so that Chris can get past. It's a really interesting battle with a little bit of an Oreo going on here, so it'll be interesting to see what the three cars decide to do.
Is there much discussion in when these guys are in the voice chats saying, hey, or I mean, is there that much involved with a versus another league trying to help out a driver? Like, do you think Dylan's really trying to help out Chris Chidoing there?
I doubt they're discussing it, vocally. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Justin's in the chat saying, yeah, I think it's more of an implicit thing. It's the drivers know each other, and it is a league-on-league battle. So I'm sure Dylan's, in his head is at least thinking, Chris, isn't going to try a crazy move on me. So he's probably going to want Chris to try and make a move on Mitch. Yeah, it's I feel like it's something that a lot of drivers think about, especially with teammates. I know, Josh Grosso, who had to retire, and I have definitely kind of, made some moves, just because we're teammates and it would help both of us. So I think it's definitely a thing that drivers think about as we have, Mitch going defensive there. But I wouldn't be surprised, to say the least.
Yeah, and Justin Scott reporting. No, what were you going to say?
It does really shift things around. I'm seeing OMEC drivers who normally are at each other's throats, and here they're working together and working as a team, whereas you normally don't see that. So it does change the dynamic quite a bit. Instead of a track full of a bunch of little teams, you've got basically two teams, and seeing how the drivers are working together.
Yeah, that's probably also why you had talked about what Elliot said about Patrick Gannon. That's probably why Patrick isn't, he's really patient. They don't really gain a lot from a team perspective for Patrick to take any risk. We do have have Chris trying to get alongside Mitch here. I wonder if Mitch is going to be able to hold the brakes here. The Porsche is superior on the brakes. So I'll be interested to see if Mitch does try and hold it alongside. So let's see how this goes.
And he goes through.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little bit of breathing room for Dylan now. Justin, I want to see if Justin and Mitch, figure something out together. 2 and 2. I'm gonna really, especially all being within, what is it? Looks like 3 seconds. Especially with the pit window coming up here soon, I think it's gonna be a good race.
It's definitely going to be a factor now. I think Mitch Buenaventura is going to definitely think about his teammate or his league mate of Justin Hall and trying to get past these two drivers. It was noted by Justin Scott in the chat that they are talking about keeping a top 10 lock, not being dirty about it, but working together. So it is in the minds for some of these drivers.
Yeah, I think that's more in the just the competitive aspect of racing drivers and sim drivers. I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to maximize points for the team. Not really, doesn't really surprise me, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Build that gap and hold it without having to put anybody else in danger and just holding those top spots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There goes
It's
Elliot Burton.
High risk, low reward.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Elliot Burton goes in the pit lane. He's going to be dropping down, but he's the first driver in the top 10, top 18 that have gone in the pit window. Be interesting when he comes out here because, he was ahead of Jacob Simmons. Or he was just behind. No, he was ahead of Jacob Simmons. And that was P5. So wonder what will happen there. It's like Tyler Anderson's kind of caught up a little bit to Patrick Gannon and Matt Shack. Now, Noah, Tyler Anderson a little bit here. What do you think his move is going to be? From what my perspective is, he kind of goes for moves, kind of like what they were saying about Tony Casado.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler definitely isn't afraid to make a move. It kind of ties into what we were talking about before. It'll be interesting to see kind of the body language of the cars to see if Tyler does want to get ahead. It's entirely possible Tyler might just stay behind, seeing as though they're similar pace. But no, in a general sense, and in the league, when you're kind of driving for yourself, Tyler definitely isn't afraid to make a move. He's a great overtaker. I would say he's probably one of the better overtakers in the league at getting a move done cleanly. So it's if push came to shove, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. But knowing him, it's also going to be done clean if he does decide to do it.
Yeah, excellent insight. We have a lot of drivers that are starting to make the move to go into the pit lane. Elliot Burton dropped down to P12 from P5. So it'll be interesting to see. Every driver ahead of him is got to go into the pit lane. He is about 32 seconds back from P1 as Matt Shack goes into the pit lane.
Yeah, so it's kind of bringing up a point I said earlier. Matt really tries to reduce the time stationary as much as possible. So I would be surprised to see, I think they came in maybe a second apart, Matt and Trey. So I'd be interested to see if Matt makes any time. But Trey is typically spot on with his pit stops as well. Like I said, there's really not a lot that separates Matt and Trey. So it'd be interesting to see how it ends up time-wise in the pits. We have Kevin Collado leaving the pits as well in P23. Seems like everybody. So Patrick and Tyler stayed out. Trey and Matt got in the pits. Looks like Matt actually had a little bit of wheel spin there coming out. It seems like Matt did lose. Yeah, it seems like Matt did lose some time in the pits.
Taking tires for the 45-minute race. That's interesting because that adds time on top of a 50% pit stop, doesn't it? 50% fuel.
I think you can. I believe you can take one side. So you can take. Sure. Yeah, because I know at Road Atlanta this past Sunday, so 2 days ago, we had drivers taking lefts because Road Atlanta is very left side heavy with this tire wear. We had guys taking lefts, and I think you get done before the fuel is done, depending on how early you pit. So it's definitely a possibility. It just depends on how much fuel they needed to put in the car to see if it was free. But it's possible that he didn't lose any time off the end of that.
Chris Lambeth up to P8. He's pit before Christopher Daniel, and he got ahead of him after the pit stop. And now they're only 2/10 separated here, so definitely going to be a change out of these two shortly. One's on fresher tires, warmer tires, and the other's not. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Was Elliott Burton ahead or behind Jacob Simmons before the pit stop?
Elliott was behind.
He was behind. Okay, I got that completely backwards. But there we go. He's still behind it, so his pit stop didn't really benefit him. They're still together, which kind of just goes, in my perspective, their last laps, they basically on the same on pace. They come out the same type of laps, lap after lap, so it'll be a struggle to see if Elliott Burton can get by.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how the front gets shaken up when because I'm assuming Patrick and Tyler Anderson are gonna pit this lap. So I'm interested to see how it comes out, because if I remember correctly, it was Trey and then Matt and then Patrick and then Tyler Anderson. So it'll be interesting to see how they're coming down the main straight now. So we'll have to get moving early.
Looks like they're going side by side. One gets ahead, and that's Tyler Anderson. Oof.
So it looks like they both got Matt. So Matt, yes. I wonder if that wheel spin did hurt Matt, or maybe the tires did take longer than the fuel. But Matt definitely lost out here in this pit stop. So Matt drops from second to fourth. Might have jinxed him with the pit praise, so I'll have to apologize for that later. But yeah, that's definitely interesting to see how much Matt lost there. But Matt's rapid, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Matt be able to claw his way back on the tail of Patrick Gannon.
Oh, absolutely. I think that'll definitely happen with the remaining laps, to not only get at the back and maybe go for those overtakes if he can stick one, you know.
Definitely. Seems like Elliott's really climbing onto Jacob here. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised to see if one of them makes a move.
And going over to Mitch Buenaventura, who's still about half a second away from Chris Chidwing here. But he did lose his league mate of Justin Hall. It's a 2.6 second gap. That's definitely a pit stop. Just a slower pit stop that he had. Oh, there's Patrick Gannon on the outside of Trey Anderson.
Looks like he got him on the straight. I wonder if that... I doubt that was any sort of agreement between the two of them, but Tyler Anderson must have had a poor exit out of that past corner, because the Ferraris are, like we talked about earlier, like Bob had said, the Ferrari's a rocket ship on the straight, so it's definitely surprising to see a Ferrari get overtaken on the straight like that.
Now looking at the OMEC drivers, looks like Jake Luther's going to join his league mate here of Justin Hall and Mitch Buenaventura, and Nick Terrell, also another driver for OMEC, and Daniel Hall.
Daniel Hall behind too.
Oh, look at that! He's going for the move. Ooh. Was not able to make that happen there at the bus stop, but that actually goes down even further. We have from P12 to P24, actually. So there's a lot of the drivers from OMEC that are just in a straight up line right now.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. That goes down Mitch Benaventura, Justin Hall, Jake Luther, Nick Terrell, Daniel Hall, Tony Caicedo, Nate Sides, Clausen, Doyson, Alvis, Adams, Collado, Hayes. Yeah, all the OMEC drivers right there in a row who are still in the race. That's pretty funny how that lined up.
On the straight, Justin Luther goes by. Or sorry, Jake Luther. Getting all my J's messed up this race. I'm sorry. Apologize for that.
Always, yep, 15 new names coming out.
Now is Justin Hall the kind of driver to kind of fight back here, or is he gonna try to keep it together?
I would guess that they're having some pretty good conversations about who they're letting by pace wise here, because what I'm seeing is, the faster OMEC drivers are bubbling to the front here. So I'm guessing and just hoping from an OMEC perspective that we're not holding each other up and letting our fast guys chase that tail, that broken wing tail, to try and see if we can't sneak some positions in there.
It makes sense. It's definitely what I would do. Ooh,
Ooh,
what a save for Justin Hall.
Yeah, what a save. Massive save.
Yeah, you really don't see those type of those corrections without hitting the wall. That was very impressive.
yeah. Normally, once it goes, it goes. Especially at the Porsche with that weight and back. A lot of times, once you get that momentum going, you might as well just kiss it goodbye.
Looks like Nick Terrell's gonna go for the move through bus stop, and I think he kind of has it nailed down. We'll see it into turn one.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to fight for it, if they're going to give it to him. Look at that there. Keeping the pressure on, going down front straight. We'll see if they follow each other up the hill or if they're going to risk it. There we go. Looks like that's decided with Luther going up front.
But is Nick gonna let him have it?
Yeah, Nick does not like to be behind anybody. So I wouldn't doubt whether just for his own fun, he's out here taking positions and scrapping every way that he can. And it's actually pretty nice to see these two guys side by side. Normally, during races, like I said, I'm normally a driver, so I'm somewhere behind that. So it's actually pretty amusing to watch this play out in real time.
Yeah, going side by side, neck and neck through some of these very tight corners, and keeping it very respectful. This kind of allows Daniel Hall, who's in that neon livery there, to just come right to the back of Nick Terrell. Going over to Chris Chitterling and Dylan Maroney, battling out for P9. Correction, Kevin Hayes the third also makes a lot of our sexy liveries. Right.
That is absolutely true. Kevin Hayes, yeah, he just cranked out a beautiful Corvette livery just right away this morning.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's Justin Hall into
That was Justin Hall taking the wall, the pro line.
And just a little bit of a snap correction for Daniel Hall, who narrowly avoided that incident. Just look back at that. Moves ever so slightly, but it was a
yeah.
It was a correction. Man.
That was some awareness there to see that coming and get out of the way.
Yeah. Mark Foley with a give me a B, give me a W, give me an R, give me an L. We have Bradley Alvarez, who I believe suffered a early on collision into a wall. Who's actually not doing too bad on positions. He's actually equal to where he started this race, P19. With Michael Doyen up 6 positions since the start of this race in P18. Now, Bob, without picking favorites, who do you know is looking to kind of make more pace here out of this remaining laps?
I think at this point we're seeing an interesting mix. I don't know if it's nerves tonight or what, but we're seeing some matchups here on the OMEC side that I wouldn't really have expected. Buenaventura is looking pretty good and hot tonight. So, I'm looking to see him close. I think he's got a second gap. Let's see how we can do on that. But with Jake Luther, right behind that, another one of our fast drivers. So we'll see between the two of them if we can crack into that spot. That's our best hope, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have missed it. I did see Jacob Simmons in the pits. Have we covered that?
Yeah,
I know Jacob was running P5, I believe. Don't know what happened. Don't see any crazy damage on the front. I wonder if he might have underfueled. Oh, Jacob Simmons was murdered, presumably by Elliott, because that's who was near him. So that is a bummer.
Ooh. It doesn't. Oh, actually, here it is.
Yep, it was Elliott.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Little
that'll
pit
do it.
maneuver action.
That will do it.
That's the old. I'll take your place.
I guess Jacob was just tired of looking at beans.
You wanted a taste of beans. Bean on bean.
Bob, I don't know if you saw it. We can always go back to Jacob's livery and zoom in a little bit, but Jacob does rock a bean livery on every car that he drives. Literally, his entire livery is just beans.
Yeah, not
You
only
gotta be
is it
known for something. Might as well
Yeah.
be beans.
not
Yeah.
only that, but it's got the beans guy from Even Stevens. I mean, that's a meta reference from only like millennials might know. And to quote Mark Foley, his beans just got baked. That's unfortunate, Jacob. So we're
But this does make it interesting now with the supposed top 10 lockout with Mitch right on the tail of Chirling. It'll be interesting to see. I wonder if probably in the back of his head, whether it's true or not, Chris is probably wanting to get by Dylan here, especially if they're right on the tail like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Mitch is, making up time. Looks like we're gonna have probably 2 laps to go after this, maybe just 1. So it'll be interesting to see if any, a little bit of a nitrous boost gets applied by Mitch to see if he can really get on the tail.
Well, I believe, yeah, it looks like we're gonna get one more. That I don't think it was a white flag there. So
No, I think there's too much time left. So it looks like there'll be 2 laps to go.
yeah, definitely 2 more.
Yeah.
Gives the opportunity for Mitch to get by. Or
Yeah, that Mitch chasing him down. I've seen that gap close down, from a second to about 0.8, which is great progress, but just not enough laps, I think, at that differential to make it happen.
Yeah, there might need to be a little bit of a slight mistake. Chitterling is usually a very consistent driver. He is usually near the front of really any series that he does with us. He used to be a really big. He actually actively races in our SF Light series, and he's always near the front as well. So it's it's definitely interesting to see. I do wonder if we'll see Chit try and make a move here at the end of the straight. Looks like he's just going to duck behind. Probably a good call, but
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see a move happen.
I mean, based on that, it'll look like a little course correction on the exit there. But maybe trying to just drafting to keep Mitch behind at this point.
Yeah, if we want to show go up to the fight for P2 and P3, yeah, it does seem like Patrick and Tyler are really trying to go there. Interesting to see Matt lost more time. Oh, Tyler just definitely goes a little bit wide there. I don't believe that's a slowdown to go that wide there. That would definitely be unfortunate if it was, but I don't believe that's a slowdown going wide there.
Patrick Gannon into the grass a little bit. That's Never a good sign.
Might be trying to cool down his tires.
Yeah, that long-standing joke. There's the white flag. He's got one lap to make it happen. They're cashing in their off tracks.
You got 18 of them. Might as well use 17.
Don't forget, there is safety bonus tonight too
Very
for
true.
a 7x or less.
Yeah, that might come to bite our guys. We'll see. And it would be interesting to see how much of a run Patrick gets on Tyler here. That'll be enough. 4/10 is a lot. Yeah, I mean he's losing time up to 5/10 now. Ferrari's just so fast in a straight line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll see if Patrick's able to see if he saved a little bit more tires. We'll see if Patrick's really able to nail down the rotation in the Audi to try and gain a little bit of time. But you know, with the back sector of Spa being a whole lot of straight, it's going to be tough to see. It looks like he did close up right there. It looks like Tyler got a little bit. Well, Patrick goes wide there too. Looks like Tyler did lose a little bit of the rear there. But that might have done it going wide there. We'll see.
Yeah, it's almost a full second. It's 0.8 change between the two.
Yeah, it probably caught Patrick off guard a little bit. Because Tyler definitely had a little bit of a scare there. Wouldn't be surprised if just got a little bit scared and drifted a little bit wide. You saw that touched the grass at the outside of the corner.
And I'll pop back over that in just a second.
Buenaventura looks like closed the gap to a third of a second now, really climbing up. But
yes, he has.
Pushing hard here at the end. He's got two guys working together to try and get ahead of here, just in this last little segment of track. So
the Porsche's good in these corners. We'll see. Well, I don't know if he has enough room to make a braking move, but it's definitely real close.
There goes Trey Mistack for P1, and Tyler Anderson is going to keep P2 with Patrick Gannon in P3, Matt Shack in P4. We'll pop over to the Mitch Buenaventura, but it looks like everyone else is going to finish in their spots with Elliot Burton in P5, Christopher Daniel in P6, Chris Stewart in 7, Chris Lambeth in 8, Dylan Maroney is ahead in 9 right now, but we have a possibility for a change in the order out of these three.
Yeah, it looks like Buenaventura coming around this last hard corner, hoping for a good exit, maybe a mistake, but watching those BWRL banners in front of him, looks like he's not quite going to be able to close it down tonight.
Yeah. P11 for Mitch Buenaventura, P12 for Jake Luther, Nick Terrell is going to finish P13, Daniel Hall in 14, Tony Casado in 15, and Nathan Sides rounding it out to finish P16. Thomas Clausen in P17. Michael Doyen in P18. Devin Adams has actually still got a bit to go. Drivers that did cross the line is Kevin Caldato in P21 and Kevin Hayes in P22. They were lapped by the leader, so they were able to get by. Just behind that is Justin Hall, who did not finish in P23. Jacob Simmons in 24. Actually, no, Justin Hall might still be out there on track, but he's P23. Jacob Simmons 24. Andrew Korstecki is 25. Justin Scott in 26. Austin McGill in 27. Joshua Grosso in 28. And Mike Braun in 29. It's just up to Devin Adams here, who's going to finish this race. Most of the BWRL drivers did not read the rules for the safety bonus.
Yeah, a lot of our guys aren't the best readers. They're good at using their right foot to go. Not the best readers though.
Oh, that might be a little bit of a difference on the verses here, and it looks like someone's blown up in the in the bonus section there. That might be Trey Mistack. No, but it's someone that's out there. So we have Christopher Daniel is still on his out, or just taking it easy on that one. And that is,
With
wow, that's Nick
De-
Terrell.
Devin Adams out there doing the ceremonial last finisher donuts, I guess.
He deserves it. Wingless, no wing.
Yeah.
Who needs a wing?
Yeah. And what a fun one. I mean, I hope we do more of these. This was a really good matchup. I think it was a lot of clean driving out of everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
there's some good
it's
races.
I don't recall seeing any big incidents between any BWRL and OMEC drivers. It's great competition, and I'm glad was able to set these up, Bob. It's good to see drivers in different leagues be able to go against each other and kind of put what they've been working on to a real competitive test.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to, like I said, switch modes a little bit. The people you're used to going elbows out with on the track, and suddenly you're interested in preserving their place. It changes the mindset a little bit, and it's a fun, different challenge. So appreciate the reach out from Broken Wing this time.
Yeah, definitely a good time, and look forward to doing more of these in the future.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and I'd just like to say thanks to Bob and Noah for joining me in the commentating booth. This was great. Appreciate it, you guys. It was let me just look at some of the data and just do some of the camera work sometimes. So that was really fun. And thanks for everybody that's in the chat that's talking to us. Really appreciate your humor out of everybody.
Yeah, and I'll have results out to you, Noah, in probably just about 15 minutes or so.
Awesome, sounds good. Thanks for it, Bob.
Yep, thanks a lot.
All right, take care, everybody in the chat. We'll see you on the next one.